hundreds of thousands, millions of followers every day. And she still hasn't said anything, just pretending like life is great in Paris.
Is it her place to say something?
I mean, probably not, considering she's gonna be indicted for anything she would say. These are criminals. Diddy is a dealer, and so is Jay-Z.
Aubrey O'Day is speaking up again about Diddy, and now she's pulling Beyoncé and Jay-Z into the mix. She's accusing them of being connected to some of the wild parties Diddy has thrown. Aubrey's been familiar with Diddy for years, going back to her time on making the band. There were even rumors that he tried to pursue her during that time. If anyone knows what Diddy's been like behind closed doors, it's Aubrey. At one point, people thought she might testify against him, but she came out and said she wouldn't. Even so, she's still been vocal online, and now she's calling out Beyoncé directly. There have already been whispers about Beyoncé trying to protect Diddy, or even being tied to some of the questionable things he's been accused of. Now that Aubrey has brought her name into it, people are shocked. The whole situation with Diddy just keeps getting more complicated. Aubrey has been one of the rare people who's spoken openly against him from the start. Back when she was a member of the girl group Diddy Kane, signed under Diddy's label. Bad Boy Entertainment, she saw and experienced a lot. Diddy Kane was made up of 5 members: Andrea Fimbres, Dee Woods, Shannon Bex, Dawn Richard, and Aubrey herself. In the beginning, they were thrilled to be signed by someone as big as Diddy. They thought it would be their shot at fame, but reality hit quickly. Diddy didn't treat them well and often embarrassed them publicly, sometimes even on TV. Out of all the members, Aubrey was the one who dared to speak out. She said Diddy intentionally caused fights between the girls, making them turn on each other so he could stay in control. By breaking their trust and creating chaos, he made it easier to manipulate them. Aubrey also mentioned that he would make mean comments about their appearances, criticizing them for gaining weight or changing their hairstyles. It felt like he didn't see them as actual people, just as things he could use and control. It wasn't just about
the stories that we have to tell during a time in music where there were gatekeepers, there were people that owned labels like Puff running things, and the way that the divisions and the divisiveness occurred, and the things that we experienced between each other and us against the system are insane.
He wanted to run every part of their lives. According to Aubrey, he even pressured the group into situations that made them deeply uncomfortable. And if they refused, he would get angry and act out emotionally or mentally. A former bodyguard named Gene Deal backed her story, saying he once overheard Diddy talking about how he planned to bring the Diddy Kane girls to parties and pass them around to his friends. That's extremely disturbing, and it only adds to the growing list of troubling claims. As Diddy started facing more legal trouble, especially after Cassie filed her lawsuit, he reportedly began contacting people from his past, including artists like Diddy Kane. He offered to give them back the publishing rights to their music, something he had held onto for years and made a lot of money from. But there was a condition: they had to sign non-disclosure agreements, or NDAs.
It's everything you could imagine why somebody would want to fire somebody. I wasn't willing to do what was expected of me. Not talent-wise, but in other areas. So it's difficult when you're that young to understand your worth as a woman through the men that I was around, and that was very traumatic. I don't think any of us have healed from that. Diddy would be like, "You're not hot anymore, like what happened? You don't have anything, like you don't have any curves. You're looking like you're not looking like, I can't get people to think that you're my good-looking person." And there was no Me Too at that time. There was no protecting anyone at that time. You signed a million NDAs and a million contracts that took away all your rights. So
talk about anything that had happened. Aubrey wasn't buying it. She suspected something bigger was about to go down and warned the other group members not to sign. She pointed out that the rights weren't even worth much anymore since their music wasn't bringing in the same income. To her, it looked like Diddy was just trying to silence people before more damaging information came out. Gene Deal confirmed that Diddy Kane was the only group that didn't sign the NDA. All the others agreed. Aubrey saw through what was happening and stood firm, encouraging her group to do the same. You probably remember when a video surfaced showing Diddy assaulting Cassie in a hotel. It spread quickly online, and it was hard to watch. Soon after, Diddy released a video trying to apologize, but Aubrey wasn't impressed. She called the apology fake and pointed out that just a few—
"Because I heard him, and I'm giving you this, Aubrey. He stood up there and he said in front of a lot of people We were in the studio. And I said something to him and walked out the studio. He said, yo, I'm going to get off and pick them up and come out to my, he said, I'm going to them out. I'm going to get them all on, and I'm going to pick them to my, and I was like, them somebody kids, and walked out. And it's somebody that heard me. It's somebody that heard me. I mean, well, it's not only somebody that heard me, it's somebody that I know who was in the studio at the time that happened, and I still talk to him today. And we were just talking about that the other day. He done moved back to Indiana. I don't know why. I'm gonna give you that one. He said he was gonna them all out and them out.
Months earlier, he had accused Cassie of lying. Aubrey said he never really apologized to Cassie. Instead, he apologized to the public for witnessing his actions. In the apology video, Diddy claimed he was disgusted with himself then and now. But if that were true, Aubrey said, he wouldn't have made that earlier statement denying everything and accusing Cassie of being dishonest. She made her feelings clear. This wasn't about forgiveness or faith. According to her, those ideas didn't apply to someone who had acted the way Diddy did, and everyone knew it. But Aubrey didn't stop there. Rumors are now going around that she's also targeting Beyoncé, and this time, she's not holding back. There have been whispers about Beyoncé and Diddy for years, but people didn't expect Aubrey to bring it up publicly. What's even more surprising is the connection through MTV's Making the Band, the same show where Diddy found Aubrey and her group. That show also featured another group called The Ban. They also dealt with harsh treatment, but in their case, the problems weren't directly caused by Diddy. It had something to do with Beyoncé. One of the members of The Ban, Freddie P., shared a surprising story about their experience. Back in the day, Diddy made them walk all the way downtown just to get him a cheesecake from the Cheesecake Factory. At first, people thought Diddy wanted the cheesecake himself, but Freddie said it was actually Beyoncé who asked for it. She told Diddy to make the group walk instead of using a car. No one is exactly sure which part of New York they were in, but the walk lasted 4 hours. 4 hours. That's an incredibly long time just to get a cheesecake. This event was an early sign that something was off with how Diddy treated people, but at the time, most didn't take it seriously. Some even joked that he would
I have to release him for any claims or wrongdoings or actions prior to the date of the release. I have to sign an NDA that I will never disparage Puff, Bad Boy, Janice Combs, or Justin Combs' music, or EMI, or Sony ever in public.
So that you just got recently for this thing?
I got it a few months ago when he started
for
doing
what's
this.
in the news now.
So what's happening is artists, some of them, not all of them, are being given streaming royalties and ownership back over our publishing on songs that we wrote at a time when you know that you have to stream a song 1 million times to make a cent.
Yeah.
Okay? It's hundreds of dollars. And me as somebody that's a girl's girl, I hit everyone in my group and said, absolutely do not take this deal. I can get us a show on Hulu right now.
was just being tough because the music business is harsh and only the strongest can survive. However, during a recent interview, Freddie revealed the real reason behind that long walk. It wasn't about Diddy's punishment or enjoyment. Beyoncé wanted the cheesecake. But instead of having someone on her own team get it, she made Diddy force the band to walk for hours to embarrass them on TV. When Freddie shared this, many were shocked that Beyoncé would go that far. Then, a video of the baby went viral where he talked about a private party at Diddy's house. He said that during the party, Diddy cleared everyone out of a room, leaving only himself, Beyoncé, Jay-Z, and Diddy inside. Once alone, Beyoncé spent a lot of time talking to the baby and even introduced herself like it was something special, even though she's Beyoncé and everyone knows.
Beyoncé, I was at a party at Diddy crib in LA. This was the beginning of 2020. You know what I mean? Diddy had put everybody else out the crib, like the influx of people he had put them out. but he had took a liking to me in particular around the time, man, and was really, you know what I mean, like putting his arm around me.
Right.
So he had put majority of the people out, but he allowed me to stay in there. Me and, you know, maybe about 15 others, you know.
Right.
Jay-Z and Beyonce being, you know, two of the other 15 people in the room. So that'll just put into perspective of the type of company I was in
Right.
at the moment, you know. And she came over and introduced herself to me like as if she had to.
Right.
Beyonce, cut it out. But I'm a big fan of your work, you know what I'm saying? Whoop de whoop, and that was just dope. That was dope as hell to me, man. That was dope. That was.
What he is a broke down Mandingo fighter still working on behalf of the NFL. That's what he is. Period. You want to know what else I also find funny? That he did that interview with the baby person who sat there and told him about when he met Beyoncé. Y'all remember that? That happened on Shay Shay. And he talked about how he was at the Diddy party at Diddy's house. And how after, you know, the festivities were winding down and it was getting later into the middle of the night, approaching 3 a.m., Diddy got rid of almost everybody, but he let the baby stay behind with him and his close friends. And then he talked about how Beyonce was there and Jay-Z was there. Not at their house, at Diddy's house. And how Beyonce presented herself to him. And she didn't have to do that because he knew who she was and he couldn't believe she was talking to him. But she approached him. Kind of like how she approached that old friend of his when he said that he was at the party and the little people was there and she asked him, "Isn't this sexy?"
Damn.
My. How illuminating. There's been a lot of freaking off going on for a long time. Why does everybody keep... Let me tell you this. Beyonce, Giselle Knowles Carter. It does not matter how much money they spend, how many people, those tickets ain't gonna sell. I wish you had the common sense that animals do when they're caught. They just surrender. But no, y'all gonna fight it to the very end. Y'all gonna bring this broke down old NFL bum who apparently will do anything with his genitals to help cover or create validity where there is none with the weirdos. With his little orange purse. Screwing people's kids. Screwing kids young enough to be his grandchildren. Shame on you. You a dirty old man. Period.
Knows who she is. It felt a bit awkward, and some thought Beyonce might have been trying to flirt with the baby. Maybe because rumors say Jay-Z wasn't meeting her needs anymore as he was getting older. The rumors got even more intense when Aubrey came forward and said Beyoncé and Diddy were secretly involved behind Jay-Z's back. She claimed Jay-Z was the one who first introduced Beyoncé to Diddy, but later, Beyoncé and Diddy started doing things without Jay-Z knowing. This secret behavior is what sparked more problems and made the situation more complicated. While no one can say for sure if Aubrey is telling the full truth, the fact that these stories are spreading shows this issue is far from over, and the tension isn't going